Welcome guys to my first Antihero review. Of course it is just another deluxe board review, which anybody who's in the know knows I ride a lot of. So this is a Jalopy Antihero 8.28. So I got this because this is a really interesting shape to me. Even though 8.28 is a bit wider than I've been liking riding, what is unique about this deck, and I suspect this is another one of Deluxe's hidden gems, is that it is only 31.625 long. So that's just over 31 and a half. So for an 8.25, that's a fairly short deck. The wheelbase is only 14 and 1/8. So that's a short wheelbase that I'm beginning to suspect might be the Goldilocks zone wheelbase for me. So this came with an awesome badge, or a, thing you sew on your coat. What are those things called? I don't know things about stuff. Patch. It was a patch, and it said lemons are yellow. Yes, they are, Jalopy. Anyways, let's take a look at this deck. So this is a 1 on the Deluxe press. Can you guys see that? That means that it was on the top of the stack when it was being pressed, so it's gonna have the steepest concave and kicks. So I'm really looking forward to trying this because it's gonna be nice and steep and lots of concave, but short. So I'm hoping that this is gonna be one of these decks that's wider than I like, but that I can still skate like a regular, smaller board. Jalopy. I may be old, but I still get hot. It's a cardial, by the way. Cardial. Well, it's been a month, and it's time for us to talk about this board. I think I've finally found it, you guys. This is basically my perfect setup. Let's cut to a little edit of acceptable flat ground tricks performed on this skateboard. I have not been finding the width at 8.28 to be holding me back at all. And I've got this on Indy standards now with some worn down Spitfire Classics. These are probably down to 50 now. 144 Indies. Here's some other stuff I did on this board. Alright, now let's talk about why I love this so much. It is everything I expected out of it because it all worked with my skateboard theory that I've been developing over the last couple of years, which is it's got that ideal wheelbase for me. I do find 14 inches a bit tight, and I find 14 and a quarter, I start to lose my 360 flips. Yes, I'm that much of an orchid. I could skate just as well on Thunders, Indies, Indy Lights, any combination of my favorite trucks I could put on this deck and love it. Now let's get into why I call this my perfect setup, because some of you might think for a tech guy from the 90s, 8.28 might be a little bit big. But here's the thing, I'm not talking about width. Width is far less important than people like to get all fussed about. I think if you're a reasonably experienced skateboarder, you should be able to go up and down within a 1/4 inch to your preferred size and not actually suffer too much, unless you're a totally retentive baby. So what I'm saying is if I kept the wheelbase and the kicks and the feel of this deck the same, and I kept the wheels the same, I think I could skate this setup down to 7 3/4, and I think I could skate it up to 8 1/2. So what I mean is I've found my Goldilocks truck and wheelbase combination and kick steepness. Like, this is it right here, the 8.28 Antihero. Like I said, I've been skating it for a month, and I'm starting to get some decent razor tail here. It's starting to get springy, like it's no longer super stiff, it's now springy. But this deck is just, like, I'm so used to this thing right now. And what I would love to do is actually skate the exact same deck again. Like, if I wasn't doing this channel, I would set this up again and look for any variation of this exact same thing in different widths, which I don't think exists yet. All I'm saying is if I was looking for performance and consistency, this is the deck that I personally would stick with. I know a lot of you guys are gonna find it too short, so don't go out buying it if you don't like short decks. The only trick that I have struggled with on this deck is switch 360 flips, and that's because I'm a baby with those. The result and reward is not even worth the effort on those. Anyways, let's get to a little skating today. Alright you guys, I honestly don't care how that looked. I've never done that before, so firsts are firsts. I really can't emphasize enough how perfect, like how ideal this setup is for me. It's balanced enough that I have pop for high ledges. It's not too far to one end that I'm losing manuals. Like I literally can do everything well on this. Let's quickly look at the shape of this deck, and then after that, well, now that we've talked about the deck so much, I want to do a ledge update. We haven't checked out this ledge in a long time. Here's the nose, and it's just slightly tapered, if you can tell. Just a little bit. Not quite popsicle, not full, just very slightly tapered. Really aesthetically pleasing, if you ask me. Here's the tail. Looks basically the same. Well, I think we've talked enough about the board now. So this ledge, I haven't been skating it all winter because there's been giant puddles in front of it. But finally it's getting warm enough that these puddles are drying. But there was a problem. The chunks were too big. And so when you tried to do nose slides or tail slides, especially if you had indies, the protruding base plate would really hang up on the chunks. Crooked grinds were also really difficult. So today I came and I ground down all those chunks and I've just blowtorched a fresh coat of wax on it. The grinder leaves lines the wrong way, so it's kind of like a file, so it needs a little more love. I tried to get those lines off with a rub brick, but I don't know. I guess I only spent about 5 minutes doing it, not 30. All right, it worked great for slides, so I definitely knocked a bunch of that down. Alright, so the point of all that, you guys, is this board's sweet, and if you don't like it, whatever. Also, guys, I want to get into really quickly why I was saying send it so many times in the last video. So there's a video that you need to watch, and I'm linking it in the description below. And after you watch this, I think you're gonna understand why I couldn't stop saying send it that day. Actually had nothing to do with Nija. Okay, now that you've watched that, we can move on. On another note, you guys, if you guys want to see me riding a product, I want you to message the companies themselves and tell them to send me stuff. I'm not going to spend my energy searching out companies and sending them messages to try and get me to ride things. You guys can do that. Be my ambassadors. It speaks a lot more if you're doing that than I am anyways. Also, I could just stick on deluxe boards or girl boards with indies and Spitfires for the rest of my life, and I'd be just fine. So if you guys want to see me ride something different, you do the legwork, because I'm happy. Anyways, on that note, I gotta do some skating on my super happy board. I hope you found this review useful or entertaining or whatevs. Anyways, guys, it's time for me to send it. Yeah, I said it again. You're still watching. This video's, it's over. There's nothing else good that's gonna happen in the rest of this video. So stop it. I'll take that one. Hey. That's a trick for future men.